shoved the kids in the car, went to Hay Hall, played mini golf.
Did you win?
Taught. Well, it's always hard with the kids because, yes, I did. I battered them.
Good. Do not give them shots.
Welcome back to the Rick Shiels Golf Show podcast, everybody. I'm your host, Rick Shiels. I'm here with co-host Guy, episode number 112.
Yes.
I'm excited because I've still slightly hungover from golf from the last 2 days of last week.
Yes.
We went to one of our favourite places in the entire world. I teased it a little bit on social media. A video coming very soon. I spent 24 hours, well, you obviously came with me as well, in the home of golf.
You know, when you say it's one of your favourite places on earth, I think it actually is my number one favourite place I've been to.
Well, that's the caveat. I've been to.
Yes,
because there's obviously, I'm sure a lot of people will say, yeah, but such a place is better. Well, I've never been to such a place. But I think St Andrews, certainly for golfers and somebody who is so passionate and loves golf so much, that is one of that is the greatest place I've been to in a golf scenario.
We've been 3 times now in the space of, 6 months?
I feel like it's our home.
It is. But it's that at this point now, the novelty still isn't wearing off.
No.
Like, if you worked there or lived there, surely after a while it does. But for me, and I'm guessing for you, I'm still in awe of it.
You know what was strange this time, though? It was a different scenario to what we've experienced in the past.
It was.
So we went in January. Obviously, this podcast is now, so we went last week. It was outrageously quieter than I've ever seen it.
It was quieter, apart from when you were walking down the high street and some guy went, I'm in the clubhouse.
Yeah, the high street was quite busy. So the students weren't fully back yet, the St Andrews University students. Some were just kind of starting to appear. Obviously, it was quite kind of, it's been cold, even though the golfing gods were looking down on us in those 2 days. Because the weather was absolutely outrageous. You're going to see all this in the video coming soon, so I don't want to give too much away. But yeah, 24 hours in St Andrews. We got to stay in our favourite hotel in the world, the Old Course Hotel.
Yes.
Who sponsored the podcast a few episodes ago. It was everything that I dreamt of and maybe more.
It's just, I think, again, this is partly what the video is about, but certainly I don't want to be kind of too generalised here, but we do have a very heavy male audience. We know that from the things we can see. And obviously, if you have a wife or a partner who's not into golf, it could be quite difficult to try and persuade them to go with you to a kind of golfy location. That's just fair, innit?
Yeah.
St Andrews is so much more than golf.
So much
You've
more.
Got the beach. And when I say beach, I don't mean a little like farty little bit of sand. It's an actual full-on beach.
Huge.
But when it's sunny, as we saw,
it's beautiful.
It's amazing.
I mean, it was beautiful on a sunny day in January.
It was.
So imagine that in July when it's absolutely warm. I mean, we saw it last time when we went in August. The beach was packed for miles and miles.
I'm really looking forward to the audience seeing your really kind of moody drone shots. We got you standing on a rock looking into the abyss.
We could have shot a music video.
It looked like this shot that people are going to see in the video. It's like you're stood there looking as if you're really like pondering, why are we here in existence? When really you're thinking, how can I gain 3 miles an hour of ball speed?
What does life mean? Yeah. How can I hit it 12 yards
Should I
further?
use a stealth this year or not?
But yeah, that video coming out soon. Like I said, I don't want to give too much away, but we got to spend an amazing couple of days at Lads Day.
It was an absolute Lads Day.
Me, Guy, and Matt, who manages the podcast, it was a proper Lads Day.
You forgot somebody there.
Oh, Scotty.
Scott the Scott.
Have you followed him?
I'm not finding him, but basically we were on the...
He's tagged me in a post.
Has he?
Yeah.
I'm going to follow him. I really liked him. So basically we were on waiting to tee off. Well, Rick was waiting. I always say we as if I was playing. I wasn't playing this time, but that's fine. You've treated me to a once-in-a-lifetime trip, so I forgive you for that, for not inviting me this time. But we were stood on the first tee waiting to tee off, and this kind of random lad came up and said, can I get a picture with Rick? Which we get a lot. You're a big name, Rick. You're a household name. You're the lady's housewife's favourite. And he was very pleasant. So of course you can. So you got a picture with him, and I kind of chatted to him. You did a bit of warming up.
Well, didn't he come over from? Was it?
He came from Dundee, so about a 20-minute drive over.
Because he saw we were in St Andrews that day, and he literally parked his car up, and after 2 minutes being out of his car, he walked to the first tee, and bang, that's where we were.
He found you, and I kind of got the feeling he was a sound guy.
Yeah.
So I went up to you and whispered. I said, "Is that a nice lad? This lad? Should we let him walk round?" And you went, "Yeah, cool. Let's let him walk round," which is very nice of you. So Scott walked round, and the first few holes, he was kind of, I said, if you stand near me, we'll always be out of shot, because obviously I kind of know where to stand and stuff to not be in shot. So he stood with me, and I was chatting to him loads. And he was kind of quite quiet and reserved, taking loads of pictures. He said to me at one point, I don't know if you know this, but Rick was putting, and your putter head cover was on the floor. And he said, do you mind if I just move? And he moved to get a really nice picture of your head cover. Is that what he's put on? But by the end of the round, he was, because what another thing that happened actually,
we were nearly hiring him.
He was really kind of. Are we talking about what Matt did wrong? Should we let the audience know that, or do you not want to say that?
I think for Matt's safety.
Okay, for Matt's safety. Matt did something wrong, which is fine. We're forgiving just about Matt. But by the end of the round, Scott was giving Matt a bit of stick. He was a really nice lad.
And we had on 17 and 18, had a bit of a crowd forming. Load of some of the students that were there had kind of heard wind that I was playing. I joined up with 2 young lads as well who were university students there.
Yeah, clever guys.
Alex and... can't remember the other guy's name, sorry. But we played 17, 18, and they were loving life. So, yeah, it was an amazing trip. So, video coming soon.
You know what I love about these trips, though, is that obviously anybody, when they go away, can meet people and kind of make friends and get chatting in a pub. That's obviously quite a common thing to happen. But obviously because people...
Which weirdly happened to us as well.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Because you get a lot of people come up to you and stuff, naturally, we end up chatting to people like Scott or like the guys in the pub. And you kind of realise there's a lot of sound people out there, isn't there? There really is.
A lot of you guys listening are actually all right.
That's what's surprising. Every time I get back in the car, it goes, I thought everyone listened wasn't all right, but there's a few all right ones.
Quick shout out as well. You might have noticed on the table, sorry if you're listening, but I'll describe it to you. I came into the office this morning, there's a little parcel arrived. I was like, oh, what's this? I've got no idea. I'm cutting it open. It's all very well packaged. I open it up. A gentleman who watches the channel from Stoke-on-Trent called Richard Dawson, or Dizzy, he likes to be known as.
Of course he does.
You can
call Shizzy from now on.
Has made us some exclusive The Rick Shiels Golf Show podcast mugs. So I've got the one that has the black with the Rick Shiels Golf Show the podcast on. Guy's got the black with the RS headphone logo. Yep. He's even got us some little placemats. He sent us 4 cups, 4 placemats, and I think that's very nice of him. So thank you very much. He noticed after watching the podcast on video that I typically drink out of a cardboard cup, and you drink out your Monster can, which absolutely drives me insane, but I don't say it too much. But now you don't have to. You can drink out of that, and I can drink out of this.
Well, you drive me insane sometimes.
Well, there. So, yeah, really good week. I'm going to give a little teaser of something that's coming up this week, which... I honestly believe that you guys listening to the podcast and watching are going to, 1, be amazed, 2, shocked, 3, ecstatically excited to listen and watch.
Talk to me.
On Wednesday, we've locked in our biggest guest yet. I want to say you've locked in our biggest guest yet.
Outrageous. And, there's a clue on our Instagram. That's all I'm going to say. So at the Rick Shiels Golf Show, have a little snoop around.
See what you can see.
Clue.
See if you can guess. So we don't want to give too much. We don't want to say the name yet, just in case some things happen and it doesn't get recorded. I want to make sure that it's locked in the can before we actually properly announce the guest. But it's going to be huge.
Yes.
It could be controversial.
Yes.
We might make a new friend for life.
I'm classing him, which is a giveaway, as a friend already. Because we've been chatting on DM.
Oh, you've been sliding. Yeah. So, yeah, very, very exciting. So, hopefully, next week's episode has the potential to be the biggest podcast we have ever done. Nervous. And we are not going to shy away from some controversial questions.
I will. That's my vibe. I can give all this banter and controversy. When the person's actually in front of me, I'll just sit like a quiet little mouse.
This cup will be filled full of vodka next week, just for some Dutch courage.
Oh, is that? Yeah, no, man.
So, yeah, really excited about that. Also, after last week's podcast, bloody YouTube, Twitter, social media blew up.
It absolutely went insane.
I want to thank everybody for their wonderful supportive messages. This was about the My Golf Spy dig that they had. Oddly enough, no response from them, which I'm surprised about. But thank you so much for everybody taking our information as it should be taken, the honest, the truth, and realising that the outlandish claims of me only hitting 5 to 10 shots is just ridiculous. So thank you so much for everybody. Your messages were very, very nice to read. Thank you so much.
One of the videos, the actual clip of that bit, what you're talking about, that beef, has had 209,000 views in the second channel.
Wow. Which
is obviously phenomenal. A lot of people that watched it aren't normal podcast listeners.
No.
And there's a number of comments saying they couldn't understand me from Americans. And I know I talk fast when I get excited. And somebody said, it sounds like he has a mouthful of marbles.
Oh, wow.
Fair. So I'm really trying today to talk slower. And I'm probably still talking too quick. But that's my new vibe for 2022. Baggier jeans and talk slower.
If you listen to the guy in 0.5 speed,
yes,
you'll be about right.
Well, did you see that clip a while ago put on my story?
Yeah.
Of me, and I didn't understand what I said myself. It's because I get excited.
I don't think you speak fast. I can understand what you're saying, but there are a few comments, so it's nice that you're taking those on board and slowing things down.
Did you have a nice weekend?
I played mini golf again.
Did you?
Yeah. Kids love it. So I felt a little bit bad on them because a couple of weeks ago, around Christmas time, we went to a local park near me. It's a big, it's huge. Well, it's Hay Hall Park. Yes. It's huge. You ever been?
Yes, played golf there.
Yeah, it's got a golf course, and it's massive. It's got this what we call the mega park because they've got this park there for kids. It's just ridiculous. It's so good. So we went around Christmas time, but we went about 3:30. So it's quite late to go there, oddly enough. And I promised them we'd do mini golf because they've got this 18-hole kind of adventure golf thing there. We've done it before, but it's been a number of years. And because they seem to be so into mini golf at the moment, and I'm not really pushing them, I really want to give them as many opportunities as I can to play it. There's a few weeks ago, I took them to the one at Trafford. So I really wanted to take them. We got there about 3:30, 4 o'clock, closed. Oh, for God's sake, that's annoying. Not floodlit, so it's closed. Then when we went to Centre Park, we were booked in to do mini golf again, and it absolutely lashed it down. And we didn't end up getting time, so it was on the last day, annoyingly. Some listeners might say you should have just kicked the kids out and made them play in the rain, but it was more me. I didn't want to play in the rain.
Of course.
So again, the weekend came, and I was like, right, what should we do, kids? And again, so excited. Can we do mini golf? And I'm like, this is brilliant.
Yeah.
So we went much earlier, 11 o'clock, just me and the kids. Claire wanted to spend time at home cleaning the place up or whatever and just getting things sorted. So I went, not a problem. Shoved the kids in the car, went to Hay Hall, played mini golf.
Did you win?
Well, it's always hard with the kids because, yes, I did. I battered them.
Good. Do not give them shots.
But obviously, I'm very focused on them. I taught Jude the correct grip. This is something phenomenal.
When you say correct grip, though...
Let me tell you something. This is phenomenal, okay?
Go on.
I realised something this weekend with the kids. So I've not really ever taught them that much in golf yet. The little tiny bits of information, where to stand roughly, where the club should be positioned in P3, what the shaft angle should look like.
But Jude's a big fan of Danny Mord, isn't he? So he gets a lot of his tips from Danny Mord.
I like to see exterior reflection through the impact zone, and they know that. They know that.
Of course they do.
So I've been quite easy on them at the moment, just giving them some basics. So Pearl and Ivy can hold the club pretty well. I don't have to ever show them how to hold it, right? For what I thought. Jude holds it like this way round. Yeah. So his hand's almost on top, and it really frustrates me. So I managed to get his hands underneath this time, right? All three of them put left hand below right.
Do they? They've copied off you?
Because I do. And I've never shown them that. How mad is that?
Yeah, that is.
So they all put left hand below right, and I can't tell them that's the wrong way because it's what I do. But yeah, really good fun. I managed to get a hole in one, and none of them were watching.
Oh,
literally,
that was a lot to you, doesn't it?
One of the hardest holes. I thought, this, I fancy this. Hit it up, roll round, in the hole. I went, kids, and one of them was looking up at the stars. One of them was bloody picking a nose. One of them was doing something else. I was like, I just got hole in one.
So at that time, you reckon you had a hole in one open qualifying, but that wasn't on camera. So yeah, convenient.
So yeah, it was really good. So again, I'm really keen on this at the moment. After they've played about 14 holes, they were just starting to borderline drop off.
Yeah.
And I honestly wanted to just go straight away because as soon as I feel like they start dropping off, being engaged, I just want to cut it straight away. So I actually missed 2 holes out, maybe even 3, finished down 18, done.
So on that note, if you're enjoying this podcast, that's it. We're done. Cheers. See you later. That's
the nice bit.
I think that's why.
All right. I know what you mean.
Yeah, got it. Mini golf is good. It's fun, and that's why I think I've said this before. But like when you watch golf on the TV, it can be boring sometimes if you're not into it. Certainly. But if you show somebody a putt that's 8 foot and say, if this ball goes in that hole, that person's going to win $1 million or whatever, it's obviously exciting. And that's what, obviously, mini golf don't win $1 million, unfortunately. But it is fun, isn't it? It's so simple. And obviously, the ones like at Trafford where they have all the dinosaurs and stuff are very fun. But I had a weird weekend.
Talk about Trafford.
Well, just before that, I actually, today we're recording this is Monday. Yesterday was obviously Sunday. I normally wake up quite handy. But for whatever reason, I was kind of sleeping in yesterday morning. And at 8:30, I woke up to a...
Oh, whoa.
At my front door.
Oh, right.
No. Okay, that was the front door.
I'm glad you clarified. All right. I'm glad you clarified that was the door then.
Yeah, so the front door, like to the point where this is the police. No one knocks the door at 8:30 on a Monday morning. Oh, it's horrendous. Like on a Sunday morning, at 8:30. So it woke me up. So I ran downstairs in my boxer shorts and opened the door.
I've got no idea what you're going to say.
I didn't know what I was going to see. So a lad stood there with a black North Face bubble coat on, jeans and like black trainers and a can of Foster's.
You joking?
No. Absolutely bladdered. He was like, oh, mate, Scouser, can you order me a taxi, mate? It's like, what? He was like, can you order me a taxi? I was like, what? I was like, still after, what? Literally, I've just woken up. I've been downstairs in within 15 seconds. I was like, what's going on? It was like, oh, I've got money if you order me a taxi. So I was like, right. I said, if you get off my drive or whatever, get off the front, and then I'll ring you a taxi. I wasn't really going to ring him one, but I just get him. I wasn't in danger, just really drunk.
Yeah.
So he went, right, and then he went, but have you got a lighter? And then he got a box of cigs out. I went, no, I haven't. He went, oh, go and put it on your stove.
As if you're going to walk through your house
with a lit cig. So I said, right. So I shut the door and locked it, and he still stood there. So I went and got him some matches. I thought, I want him, if this was on the street on a Saturday night, I'd just say, get away, mate, or whatever. But I thought, I don't want trouble on my front door. Literally, I'm actually on my front door. So I got some matches, went back to the front door.
Where was Abby?
She was in bed still. We were both literally asleep at this point. So went back to the front door, give him my box of matches, them generic Cook's matches or whatever. So we struck a match, kind of half lit the cig. It wasn't really lit properly. I went, right, I'll ring you a taxi now. I went, just go away and shut the gate behind you. So I shut the door, locked it. He walked off, went upstairs, looked out the window. He was gone. Didn't see him again. How mad's that?
That is weird.
Where I live, as you know very well, it's quite a busy road. It's not near a town centre where people roll out of pubs. I've got no idea how he got there and no idea what happened to him.
Well, hopefully he got home safe.
Well, yeah.
I thought you were going to say to me, you did all this and went, I'm in the clubhouse.
I didn't even invited in. A couple of mini egg bars on me. But yeah.
That's weird.
That is weird, isn't it? But speaking about kind of weird things in golf, we had something that was posted in our Facebook group. If you're not a member of that, why would you not be? It baffles me.
It's free.
It is actually, well, it's not free. I get a little fee. You don't know about
right, okay.
And it's a golfer who lied has been jailed for 6 months. So, listen to this.
So our condone or condemn has actually become real life.
It has, and you struggle to condone this one, but a champion golfer who swindled £26,000 in benefits has been jailed. So, his name's in the paper. Alan Bannister, who played off a handicap of 6, so he's a good player, claimed crippling arthritis and back pain meant it took him 15 minutes to walk just 50 yards. That's what he used to tell people. He had such bad pain he couldn't walk more than 50 yards.
Wow.
Right? As a result of that, he was able to claim a top-rate payment, usually reserved for people who cannot walk. He did that for more than 8 years. And he was also handed a mobility car as well. But he found himself in a hole when investigators filmed him walking around an 18-hole golf course.
Oh, my God.
The 56-year-old was also caught on camera hitting a 240-yard shot from the first tee and then lifting his bag of clubs with one hand and strolling down the fairway. The former mechanical engineer had claimed his condition was so severe he could not lift a saucepan or even peel potatoes when he applied for disability or living allowance in 2004, a court heard. The same year, he joined this golf club in Wales, and told his fraud trial last month that playing the game helped to reduce his symptoms, but it took a jury no less than 2.5 hours to convict him of taking money by deception.
Wow.
Jailed for 6 months.
Wow.
Let him off. He's off 6. He wanted a self-driver. I'm joking. I do not condone that in any way, shape or form.
How powerful golf is.
It does.
Because it might have taken him 15 minutes to walk from his car to the first tee. Yeah. As soon as he hits that 240-yard drive, he's skipping down the fairway.
No, that is obviously very, very bad, and we're not, we're making a joke of that, but that is not on at all in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I'm guessing he has to pay all the money back.
Well, I guess so, but I think I'd rather pay the money back than spend 6 months in jail. I'd hate. How much would you? Right, okay. Question for you then: you go to jail for 6 months,
okay, or
you can pay not to go.
Okay.
What would be the limit of what you'd pay?
6 months.
Yeah.
All your meals cooked.
Jolly.
Not needing my mobile phone.
Think some really good podcast ideas and video ideas.
Come out with a little tear tattoo. Yeah, I mean.
Right, let's just play. Right,
I wouldn't last a day in jail.
Imagine what would you try and go in with the I'm a sound guy, I've got no issues, anyone don't hurt me, or you try and be a bit hard just to kind of let the tough guys know?
I'd really hope that some of them were golfers.
They're not golfers.
It's not a golf jail.
Right, you're put in a room with me, and you walk in, I'm the hard man, and you knock on the door, and I go, "All right, mate.
Hi. Good afternoon.
What are you in for?"
I accidentally tripped someone over, and they fell down some stairs, and I don't want to say this. What a weird way of saying it. I was trying to think of some like golf term then. I didn't give the judge a putt once, and I won the match.
You were grass.
Where this is going. Please don't hurt me.
You'll be all right around here, son. Just pulling your leg. Are you that Rick Shiels? Rick Shields?
Yeah. You can call me whatever you want, sir.
I think you'd do very well in prison, Rick.
I would do terrible. I would do terrible.
You would do very well.
Yeah, so if it, touch wood, doesn't happen. But if it did, we sell everything, and please, everybody bail me out.
Yeah.
I think I'd require at least £10 from every one of my subscribers to bail me out. I mean,
that'd work.
It's quite a lot of money. It's 20 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll do. Give $1 million to the jail, and then I'll be scot-free with 19 million. Let's do that. What else has happened?
Well, what else has happened? As you know very well what's happened.
Well, I gave Guy the news on Friday afternoon. In fact, did I tell you while we were at the old course?
You told me on the 17th tee. What a fitting place to tell me.
So, if you listened to last week's podcast, you might have heard that Guy has been grinding surprisingly a lot at the moment with hitting golf balls.
Yeah.
A phase.
Yeah.
He's playing golf. He's grinding. He's hitting golf balls. And he went to one of my favourite places and yours, Trafford Golf Centre.
Yes.
And you mentioned last week that I'm quite lucky. I do have a black card.
Yeah. All the cards are black, by the way, but yours is a special one.
Well, I get looked after. Thank you very much, Trafford Golf Centre. So when Guy doesn't go with me, he ends up paying.
That is absolutely fine.
So he made a comment last week on the podcast.
In jest?
Well, quite fortunately, my friend and yours, you're now probably best friend.
Yeah, one of my best friends.
The director of golf there, Pete, listened to the podcast and texted me and said, just let you know, if Guy ever wants to come down to the driving range, there's a card behind the till with his name on it that will give him unlimited golf balls. Free.
A tear still comes to my eye when I hear that text.
And out of all the things that we've done and all the nice perks that you get and nice staying in the Old Course Hotel, etc., your face lit up like a 10-year-old on Christmas Day that had just been told that you've joined the local golf club and you've got a brand new set of Taylormade golf clubs ready for you.
Absolutely.
I would say you've used this so far, right?
Yes,
not abused it. You've used it.
Well, the thing is, I can't abuse it. It's not my fault if I've got a card. I go every day. I went Saturday and Sunday. My club's still in the boot right now, so I may go today.
But you're hitting a lot more balls and you're enjoying it.
The reason this is so good, right, is because
it's free.
It's free. No, because genuinely now, hand on heart, I've been going to Trafford for 10, 12 years, whatever. I used to work there, as obviously you know. And I genuinely go and hit balls there, and jokes aside, I do obviously go with all intention of pain. And sometimes if Pete's behind the till, which isn't because he has his own office, he'll sometimes say like, "Oh, I'll sort you out." Yeah, which is great. But I genuinely don't expect to ever not pay, because although I know Pete pretty well, a lot of the guys that work there I don't know. So why would they give me free balls randomly? They wouldn't, and they shouldn't do. So I go and I hit balls, and recently they've changed the structure now so that Top Tracer is included in your ball price.
Brilliant.
So they've slightly increased the ball price fractionally, but Top Tracer is now included. So if you're, the way it works out, I think, is if you're a kind of actual golfer, proper golfer or whatever, it's better value. If you go in on a bit of a date night, it's a bit probably dearer than it would have been before, but you're getting Top Tracer. Night, yeah, exactly. So it doesn't matter. So in a way, everyone's winning.
You know what? Honestly, and I said this recently, I think I said it to you, 3 or 4 years ago when Top Tracer first came out, I wasn't over the moon with it. I was quite skeptical, I think, because I couldn't understand a mass unit on a driving range could be accurate. Yeah. I felt like, no, GC Quad and a device down here that I can see that's measuring only me can be accurate. Yeah. I've completely had a U-turn on Top Tracer.
Same, 100%.
I feel like now, and I know you've mentioned it a couple of times, I feel like now if you went to a driving range without it, you do actually feel like you're not practicing correctly.
Well, it's a bit like, I used an analogy to you before, if we go running a bit, if you go for a run and you didn't use your Apple Watch or your Garmin or an app on your phone, whatever it might be, you don't know how far you've done and how quick, it feels almost like a waste of exercise, which is a stupid way of thinking about it, but it just does. And that's kind of how I'm getting with Top Tracer now. If I hit balls without seeing the stuff, and even it's just fun as well. Yeah. So I went on Saturday, went on Sunday, end up hitting probably 3 wedges, 4 7-irons, and all drivers, obviously on the long drive. And some of the people that hit drivers, I don't know how they do it.
So what's your maximum distance so far?
The max I've hit is, over the 2 days, was 304, I think. And it was, but they were good hits as well. And you see like 320s and stuff up there, and I just don't know how it's done. I really don't. But respect, speed, strength.
I honestly think it's like that lad who did the £1 yard per yard challenge, who went last. Yeah, I think he got in the 320s, didn't he?
It's outrageous.
He bombed it, and it's just super fast.
But then the thing to remember is that Top Tracer is tracking the actual ball flight. Yeah. So if it's wind into the face or behind, that's going to make a difference. If it's very cold, that's going to make a difference. So if you go in the summer with a bit of wind behind, I'm guessing they'll pump out some big numbers.
The thing is, you're going on the same day as some of these guys hitting 320.
Well, that's exactly it. So my excuse isn't really valid. I've no idea how they do it, but I've really enjoyed it. And I'm not going to go, obviously, jokes aside, because I only ever get 40 balls as well. Yeah. So that's enough for me. I'm not going to go every day. It's a bit of a novelty at the moment, but I do enjoy going, and it's weird because it's actually only 23 minutes for me to get there. Yeah. So straight onto the motorway.
It's a good range, though, isn't it?
It is a good range.
It is really good. The quality is so good.
So that is the best thing I've ever got, ever.
When are you playing golf again next? You got anything lined up?
Depends when you're fancying a game. Next week. You know what I did think of, by the way? Bit of a challenge for you. Yeah. Just podcast challenge. Why don't we have, so give you something to go to the gym for and hit balls for. Let's just say in 2 months, middle of March, we'll have a Top Tracer challenge of actual long drive. I like it. No excuses. So we'll both have 2 months to train, hit balls.
Perfect.
Let's do exactly. We'll use the same day.
Let's set a date. Check our calendars. Don't know why we're doing it a date now. I just feel like I need... Today,
Monday the 14th, which is a podcast day.
Perfect. Valentine's Day.
No, that's April. Is that not? No, when's April? When is Valentine's Day?
Oh, February. Sorry.
Yeah, so no, we'll go the month after. So we've got 2 months. Okay. You can do a bit of gym training, bit of speed training.
Well, today is day 1 of new Rick.
Right. Well, that's it. Then that's what you're aiming for.
Yeah. New Rick starts today.
And even if, obviously, want to beat each other, but even at the minute, I can't get much over 300 yards on Top Tracer. And now I know that, again, I just said the weather might change and stuff might get it easier, but I can't. So if we can both get pumping them out past 310,
love it.
That's the challenge.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like that's set in stone. 14th of March.
What about if it's COVID pending? We have a bit of an audience, maybe cheering us on. Rick. Yeah, that's it. If you're in, we'll confirm it later. If you're in the area,
that'd be good. That one.
We can have a few people watching.
Do it at like night.
Yeah,
a few beers.
Record a bit for the podcast.
Oh, this could be good.
This could be good. So.
I like that. This week you're going to see another driver review coming out on Wednesday, and it's from another big brand. We've seen Callaway. We've seen Taylormade. We see another brand coming out on Wednesday, which I must admit, I think we spoke about in the podcast so far, underwhelmed me initially, but managed to sway me more positively towards the end of the review.
Question for you then. It's Cobra. I'm going to say it. And if I get in trouble, I'll get in trouble. It's Cobra. Visually, doesn't look that outstanding, let's be honest, but it performs. Stealth looked very, very different, but it performs. Do you think if a driver comes out now, it's all singing, all dancing, you expect a lot from it?
Yeah.
Whereas when one comes out that's a bit more plain and vanilla,
100%.
you're then almost happy with almost average results in a weird way.
It's the same we almost use here in the office. It's almost like Taylormade of overdeveloped, but underperformed.
Yeah.
Where I feel like Callaway have gone, they've underdeveloped, but they're overperforming.
Yeah.
I feel like at the moment, it's like when you expect, it's not the same we say, is it? Under deliver. No, what is it? Under
promise, over deliver.
Yeah, under promise but over deliver. That's right. So I feel like that's what Cobra's done this year, where I feel like Taylormade have over promised.
Yeah,
and then you almost go in with this mindset that it's gonna be the best things ever since sliced bread. But then you might come off it and go, oh, I'm a bit underwhelmed.
I tell you what, though, I don't know if it's I'm living a bit more in the social media world this year or not, which can be quite not real. But I think you said this as well, but I can't remember, bar R7, a Taylormade driver getting this much excitement and hype.
Ever.
I think even more than R7.
Yeah, 100%, like 100%.
Yeah, possibly is.
It feels like this year, and I don't know whether it's marketing. I'm sure somebody would be able to do some real deep diving analysis on why Taylormade Stealth Driver this year seems to be so hyped.
But you know what? That's actually great for all the brands, because let's just say you've got 10 guys who are going to go to Trafford on the day it launches because they want one. 7 of them probably will walk away with it because they wanted it and they hit it well. There'll be 3 guys who hit it and go, oh, it didn't quite perform for me. And then the sales staff, if they're doing a good job, will say, well, why don't you try out the new Callaway or the new Cobra? And they'll try that and go, actually, that's good. I'll get that one. So in a bizarre way, it could actually work well for all the brands.
Well, as you know, I've just nipped into a golf shop this morning and they're asking about the reviews and asking about this, that, and the other. And I said, what's it been like here? He said the phone has been off the hook.
It's mad.
With people wanting to book in to test Stealth. And I said, what about Callaway? No, nothing. They all want to come in and test Stealth.
Well, you know what's mad? When I said when you got fitted for it, like those 3 shots that were terrible, I wasn't interested. Now I'm hitting driver, touch wood, better again. I actually want to hit it again. I don't know what I'm looking for, but I'm interested myself, even though I know it won't be miles away from my own driver.
It's intrigue, isn't it? That's what it is.
I'll be very interested when it actually hits the shelves and to see how it does actually in reality. Who knows? Got some questions for you.
Go for it.
So, this is from Gaz Phip, I think it's pronounced. Could Rick Shiels break 75 the old-fashioned way? Just a scorecard? No GPS or gadgets, just using a course planner and the markers. I asked this question because my Apple Watch stopped working after only 8 holes and I shot 3 over par on the back 9, the old-fashioned way. I'm a 26 handicapper. So what he's saying is, Gary says, his name's actually Gary, that he played better golf without his GPS.
Yeah, I think I could. I think sometimes we do rely on technology a little bit too much out on the golf course. You know, I think sometimes it sounds daft. You know, when you just eyeball a shot and you just go, yeah, that feels like it would be my 56 degree. I'm just going to flick it in. Almost a bit like you'd practice. Like if we were on the short game area at Woburn, when we did that mad challenges, we're not zapping the flags and find out the exact distance. No. We're just going, that feels about right. That's about the right shot. Yeah. I think where it would be most challenging is probably the longer shots into the greens, like the par 3s, for example, because you can go off the markers that are out there and you hope they're going to be okay. It's just that if it's a massive green and the pin's at the back, it's just a little bit harder to calculate. But I think if you almost played that style and only went off the marker, as long as those markers are to the middle of the green and just played to the middle of the green, you wouldn't be far away.
No, the only time you would be really maybe a little bit stuck is if you're playing a new course. Yeah. Because you might not have the marker, so it's hard to really know. On your home course.
Yeah, it's certainly your home course. You feel like you've played it probably enough times. Yeah. As much as I am still a massive advocator on getting the right number and getting the right distance, I still feel like for the majority of people, if not everybody, technology definitely does help. But sometimes, just as a little training aid, not training aid, almost just a bit of an experiment, just go out and just enjoy it. Like, Rob Potter, who obviously used to be on the channel, when I was coaching him, he was probably my most intense student. Would turn up with all of his stats. He'd have that would never happen to him. What happened to Gary would never have happened to Rob.
What, he'd lose charge or anything?
Because he'd have 2 rangefinders. He'd have 3 watches on. He'd have a speedometer. He'd have a wind measurer. You know, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think sometimes I said to Rob, I honestly would love to see you turn up in the morning, hungover, with no technology, and go and just enjoy playing golf. And I still to this day think he would play better.
Yeah.
But then on the flip side, I see a lot of golfers who maybe don't go into that much detail and make silly mistakes unnecessarily.
The one that I would say hate, I don't hate it, I'm not that bothered, but what I saw a lot of my friends doing was they'd get to, let's just say, 3rd hole and it's a par 3, and they normally hit a 7-iron.
Yeah.
And they'll just get on the hole, put a 7-iron down. And I'm thinking, this is a 5 today.
Yeah.
Because the flag's a bit further back,
different.
it's cold, it's wind into the face a little bit. There's a lot of different, like, factors to consider.
Of course there is.
Rather than just actual distance.
Well, you look at even the hole we played, or I played at St Andrews Old Course, the 11th, par 3.
Yeah.
Like, so far, I've seen your brother hit driver,
Yeah.
and I'm sure I've hit like an 8-iron into that green on different days, just because the condition is so different. So, yeah, really do factor in your distances.
This is from Eddie Bellamy. Is there such a thing as irons getting old and losing their pop with age? My current irons are 15, 16 years old. How much distance or forgiveness am I losing compared to something from 2021 or this year?
I think if you were to ask the question, do they change pops? Let's say he has that set now. He's had them for 15 years. If he could somehow get an exactly the same brand new set from 15 years ago, if you just compare them for a minute, the only thing that could change is your old set might have changed loft in that time frame. By the time they've been in your bag for 15 years and you've hit hundreds of thousands of golf shots and you've shoved them in the back of your car and whatever, certainly if it's a soft metal like a forged iron, the lofts can change. And sometimes it can be quite a significant amount, 2 or 3 degrees. So I would start off by saying, make sure, and it's not expensive, to go to somewhere there's a loft and lie check and make sure all the lofts that they should be is what is correct.
Yeah.
I remember when I was assistant pro at Mere and we used to do loft and lie checks. I'd be shocked sometimes. Let's say a 7-iron had gone 3 degrees weak, right?
Yeah.
And an 8-iron had gone 2 degrees strong. Those clubs have almost swapped.
It's mad.
Like the 8-iron then is stronger than the 7. So it can really easily happen. So I would start off with that. If then you can comparing that 15-year-old set with a set of brand new irons, the biggest difference right now is loft. So the irons I reviewed last night, which you would have seen on the channel, the Taylormade Stealth irons, the 7-iron is 28 degrees of loft.
Strong, innit?
Now, 15-year irons ago, that would be a 5-iron.
Yeah.
Minimum, wouldn't it, really?
Be like 2 irons more, yeah.
So if you were to compare apples and apples, that 15-year-old club with a set of clubs now, the only pop you might see that's different is the lofts now are stronger. The club head designs, yes, have changed. Obviously, they are more powerful. But the biggest thing is making sure that those lofts kind of match up.
Yeah. The other thing as well, you hear, certainly better players, but it's quite often you'll hear somebody saying, oh, I need new wedges because my grooves are ruined.
Worn out.
But you don't hear that with irons very often. But I remember I bought years and years, literally years ago now, a set of second-hand Titleist blades. And I don't know who had them before me, but they had like the proper black spot in the middle where someone had been nailing them.
Yeah.
And if you looked at like the 9-iron, the wedge, maybe even the 8-iron, the grooves were almost non-existent. And that's going to have a negative effect on performance as well. So there is obviously characteristics. But yeah, the biggest thing, like you said, it's a 7-iron net from then isn't a 7-iron today.
No.
From David Jolly, have either of you ever fell out with a club and then lost all confidence in using it?
Yeah, 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
Happens so often.
I feel like it's normally like a 2-iron or something like that.
So often. Drivers, 2-irons, putters.
Putters is a big one.
Wedges. Yeah. I feel like maybe sets of irons are slightly harder because there'll still be some irons in there that you like and there'll be some that you maybe don't like. 100%, any club in the bag you might have been in love with when you first bought it, and for whatever reason, a couple of bad shots, a couple of bad strikes, you soon start to lose confidence. When you put that club behind the ball, it's not as inviting to hit as it once was. You can easily lose confidence in the clubs, and I think that's why we've touched on it a few times. If you can keep a couple of old putters knocking around,
is the one,
or a couple of old drivers that you might have thought, I can get 50 quid trading for this driver, but sometimes just keeping it in an old bag in your garage. And then when, for example, you lose faith in your brand new Taylormade Stealth, you can just jump back in the garage, grab out the old Callaway Diablo from 2002 and just go on the range and just smack a few shots and go, oh yeah, I'm going to put this in the bag for a week.
I think for me, putters is a massive one. And I actually went into my loft the other day and I've still got, I can't remember, it was a Nike Method Origin putter, and it was the one that Rory used for a bit. It's like a Scotty Cameron, really. It's not as good as that, but it's like one. And it's got like, sounds silly, but a thin, fat grip. So like a fat grip, but a thinner version of.
Quite a hard grip, if I remember correctly.
Well, the ones that they actually came with originally were like a thin pistol. Yeah. But this one I had like a custom grip on. It's like, what are those brands of grip that are thicker? What's it actually called? Not fat, Super Stroke, whatever. Yeah, it's like, it's one of those, but it's not nowhere near the biggest size to do. Yeah. And I just did a little few strokes. I was like, oh, that's really good. At some point in my life, that will go back in the bag again for a bit. And if you, like I said, if you cannot sell a putter, that is the one club I think you can throw back in so easily. Well,
again, a daft thing. We're in St Andrews. We couldn't not go shopping. So I went into Ottoloni's second-hand shop, which is actually my favourite shop in St Andrews.
I think so.
By a mile.
Yeah.
I think it is.
Agree.
And a little tucked away around the corner. And the gent in there, I think, ask his name again. I need to ask his name next time. He was loving it because he got a shout out in one of the videos we did a few weeks ago. But looking around that shop and just picking up some of the old clubs, it's like, I mean, I bought 4 and I didn't really need them. But I just thought, why not? Like, sometimes I bought a 64-degree Cleveland wedge 100% one time this summer. I'll go out to the short game area near me and just hit these shots. Just for fun.
At what point does a club become almost cool again? So, for example, I've currently got the Ping G425 driver. Yeah. And the other Ping driver I've ever owned was a G10. I think that was in about 2008 or so. I can't remember what year it came out. And they had pretty much the exact same one. And I nearly got it, and I thought it was like 75 quid. He might have done a bit of deal on it. I thought, no, I'm not going to use it. But I kind of semi-wanted it a little bit. If that was a Ping G30, I wouldn't have cared. Now, obviously, because I didn't own it, but still, there's a point where they start to feel like almost, when is that? Like, what?
I don't think you can put a time on it, but time definitely makes the heart grow fonder on golf equipment.
Like, I wouldn't want an M3 driver now.
You wouldn't know.
No. But then in 5 years, you go, oh, it's an M3? Maybe. Yeah. Weird, isn't it?
Really weird. Yeah, exactly the same. A lot of these clubs that I was seeing in the shop, I probably got in my lockup, and I'm going, oh, I fancy that. I'm thinking, why do I fancy that? What makes me like that? And it's almost nostalgia. It's almost like, God, didn't clubs used to be simple back in G range? Well, no, the technology back then was just as revolutionary as it was back then. But
arguably more so back then, because the fella was bigger jumps, bigger. When a brand brought out a new driver, it often was literally bigger in size, and there was more to talk about.
You know which club right now I think you could almost get away with being this kind of cool is an old M2.
Yeah.
And that's what, 2015?
That's because that was a good driver as well.
But it's like, already that feels a bit retro.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. It was
but really then equally, Titleist 913 wouldn't.
No, it wouldn't, because it wasn't a good year.
910 though, but that's a good driver. It's weird. Speaking of Taylormade and equipment brands, etc., Kristen Broadbent has said, would Rick sign a 12-month deal with Taylormade to be through the bag on the promise of a video with Tiger? Seriously now.
Wow.
So let's just say,
I think if I was allowed to be super transparent and say this is why it is,
they wouldn't let you do that, I don't think.
I would, if I could sign it and go, right, I'm signing with Taylormade because I can do a video with.
What about if they said, sign with us, the first video you do with us is going to be at the Kingdom, we're going to have Tiger there, you're going to kind of do a bit of a whatever with Tiger, and that's your video with him, but then for the next year you won't get to see him again, but you still have to use all the Taylormade stuff.
I think that way round might be easier.
Yeah.
Because it's in the bank. I've done the video with Tiger. It was up front. First day, I'm doing a video with Tiger, and everyone else, oh, you sell out, I did a video with Tiger. Oh, you're selling out, I did a video. Where if it was at the end of the year, and certainly
all year,
yeah, I'm like, yeah, but I am doing a video with Tiger, and people are like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, but no, I am. They've promised me. Oh yeah, whatever.
Yeah, Okay, we'll see.
Yeah, so if Taylormade are listening, video with Tiger up front.
No fee. Just
Please. Video with Tiger up front. I'll use all the clubs for the full year.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, I do. Charlie Jones has said, how important is a decent golf ball? And I've got a little take on this. I have told this story before, so I do apologise to those people that have listened, but I would normally go out and use Pro V1. Yeah. Just what I do. Happy to use a TP. Well, I have to use any golf ball. That's what I'd navigate towards, or gravitate towards a Pro V1. And there was a time where my mother-in-law, somebody at her work had left or whatever, and in his desk he had a couple of dozen golf balls. He wasn't bothered about taking them, so I got them. She gave them to me because obviously I play golf. And they were like, I can't remember exactly, but like a Titleist DT Solo, like some random logo stamped on the side. And I played at my old golf course with some friends one evening, using one of them because I didn't want to use a Pro V1 and lose it or whatever, and shot 300 gross, which was one of the best scores I've probably shot around. Well, it was the best score I've shot around there. But yeah, I would never use that ball in a comp when I'm trying to get a good score. So it's kind of, although that's not a bad golf ball, obviously, it's kind of not what you'd fit me for. And you think, isn't it mad how, like, if I went for a fitting with Titleist and they tried me again with that ball against the Pro V1, every day of the week they'd come out and say Pro V1, and I'd also say I want Pro V1. But there's nothing more actual evidential, if that's even a word, than the actual score you've shot. Yeah, exactly. And I shot 300 par with it. So it's weird, isn't it?
Because even, it sounds daft things. Let's say, for example, you got fitted for a Pro V1,
yeah,
which Titleist claim that everybody should use a Pro V1.
Yeah.
It's a mad line, that, isn't it? Everyone should use a Pro V or a Pro V1X. It's only if then basically you don't want to spend that much money, you go down the tiers of golf balls.
Kind of makes sense. I don't know if it's true or not, but
so if you got a proper fitting and you came out with Titleist Pro V1 or whatever it may be, that is giving you the best ball speed, the best spin characteristics that on paper should suit your game. Mm-hmm. And you go around the putting green and you like the feel of it the most, and you like the spin of it the most, for example, right?
Yeah.
From a personal standpoint. What you might then under-factor is, let's say you go out on the putting green, or let's say you go and play golf, let's say. When you're using Pro V1 around the greens, you might like the feel, but does it almost spin too much? Are you leaving your chip shots too short of the hole because there's too much check?
Yeah.
Where if you threw down DT Solo that doesn't spin as much, are you actually statistically getting it closer to the hole?
True.
The other big thing as well, let's say you prefer putting with a Pro V1, but your putting speed, the way you see putts and link that with the Pro V1, everything's missing short and on the low side because you're not getting the speed. For example, if you use a DT Solo, it's a harder golf ball, you're hitting it and it's staying on the speed that you project better, even though you might not like the feel of it.
Yeah, true.
So there might just be elements of that as well, as much as statistically on paper you should use this ball. Sometimes in a real life scenario, a different golf ball would suit you better.
Yeah.
So I think I love golf balls, and I used to not like testing golf balls that much because I thought they're not that different. I think they've all got these little subtle differences that might just suit different golfers. And I feel like golf ball reviews, certainly we do them on YouTube, they get fantastic views because, again, unlike a brand new £500 driver, somebody listening to or watching a golf ball review go, yeah, go on then. I'm gonna buy 3 of those for 12 quid and give them a go. I'm going to buy a box of those for 20 quid and give them a go. Yeah. You know, it's an easier product to try, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is 100%. And at the end of the day, we lose golf balls. We need to replenish them.
Yeah.
I think they're at a price point now, like the Pro V1s, where they're expensive, but they're just about, like, they don't weirdly feel like they've changed that much. I think a dozen Pro Vs now you're going to get for around, I'm just going to check actually.
Probably 12 quid?
Well, I was thinking of a dozen is going to be more like 40 quid.
Yeah.
But, well, 45 quid, I think. So on... Yeah, American Golf, which is the first website I've gone on, the $44.99.
Yeah.
I feel like Pro V1s have always been 40 quid.
Yeah.
So they are expensive, certainly if you lose them, but they've not like got to the point where they're 60, 70 quid. Speaking of kind of the Pro V1 and how big of an advancement that was in golf, Max Thomas has said, what do you think will be the next big advancement in golf, in the golf gear kind of sector? For example, when hybrids first launched, they were kind of revolutionary, you know, a whole new product line. So not necessarily a technology, but an actual product line.
If I knew that, Max, I'd be a bloody billionaire. It's hard to say. What's the gap in the market right now in product? The only sector, I believe, that brands could make cool, because hybrids were never cool when they first came out, you know.
No.
People didn't like them. It almost a bit like...
Tour Pros didn't use them for ages, did they?
Tour Pros didn't use them for ages, and they almost had this stigma of like, oh, it's just a club that gets you out of the bit of rough.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't that popular. And over time, it definitely became a lot more popular. It became a lot more usable by all different categories of golfers. I would say one sector which was really struggled with that is like the short game. I still think there's wedges out there that could help a lot of golfers, but they've never become cool. Like really wide sole clubs, even chippers.
Yeah.
Like I feel like chippers have such a bad stigma, but I honestly believe if chippers became a mandatory golf club that people had to carry,
people would lower the score.
I'd think that. I think if suddenly a rule of golf was, right, you can have 15 clubs in your bag, but one of them has to be a chipper, I honestly think people would be a bit wary at first, but over time they'd actually start to use it, and I genuinely believe that they'd hit better short game shots.
No, I think whenever we've reviewed
so basically I want chippers to become cool.
No coincidence.
I mean, maybe I could make chippers cool.
The only thing with the chipper is, I know it's a joke, but if you are a better player, it is taking a whole club out your bag.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
If you had one in.
I feel like, but bearing in mind, that's what hybrids were like back in the day. Rescues.
Yeah.
You'd almost have to take a club out the bag, a 3-iron.
Yeah, and put one in.
And put a rescue in.
Well, that's where the numbers came from, wasn't it? So you replaced that number of iron, but didn't quite work. But I'd say what I think I would like to see, and this probably will never happen now in the kind of era we're in with launch monitors, but there was a spell where brands had square drivers. Obviously, the whole story of that was MOI, forgiveness, accuracy in your golf shots, and they kind of weirdly weren't marketed as being the longest, but certainly the most accurate drivers. And there was, I think, evidence in that. Obviously, they sounded horrendous at the time. They didn't really take off, but it would be good. Think about, like, this might be the best example now. I just thought of it in my head and it felt good, so bear with me. It might not be. But if you think about, like, when Mo Farah does a marathon run or whatever, the shoe that he will wear is obviously Nike's top shoe. And they may say that should be the shoe that everyone should wear. But if you were, you know, he's looking for speed, he's looking for all the things in a shoe he wants. Whereas if you were running your first ever marathon and you're doing it for a charity or something, you probably wouldn't wear the same shoe he has. You might wear one that is a bit more padded or whatever it might be. Yeah. But yet with golf clubs that people want, obviously, to aspire to use what the tour pros use when they have very different wants and needs. And yes, you can get them fitted and there's slightly different models, but overall they're kind of similar. But it would be good if brands made, so like if Taylormade made a driver that was all about accuracy. So tour pros didn't use it because they don't really need to, but it was, let's say, rather than being 45 inches, it was 43 inches, so you get a bit more control. You know, they changed it, so it wasn't super, super low spinning, but it was, you know, I don't know what they do, I'm not an engineer, but if they had clubs that were actually designed more to hit the fairway, because drivers now at 45 and a half inches are longer, you know, people are getting more club head speed, but they're striking all over the face. That would be something that would interest me. Definitely. I just don't know how it would work, how people would, would people get sucked into it or not, because distance is sexy, isn't it? Yeah.
And again, going back to this idea, I think if you were to allow another club in the bag, a 15th club, I think people would possibly put a forgiving driver in the bag. Yeah. So you've got your normal driver that you might use that's going to hit you a long distance, but now you've got a club that is just designed for ultimate forgiveness, because there's 13 degrees of loft on it, big massive head, shorter shaft, dead easy to hit. Yeah. You know, it doesn't curve off line. I honestly think you'd see a lot more golfers put it in. I think that the stigma is if they only had that as a driving option, they would be always thinking, could I hit it a bit longer? Yeah. He's got the normal driver and he's hitting it 20 yards past me.
Question for you then. At the moment, brands do typically they'll make several, but two drivers, a kind of standard one, for want of a better word, and then a lower spinning model. And the lower spinning model is what you typically see tour pros using. I imagine, again, a bit of guess, if you got a Bryson or a Rory to hit the standard model and then hit the low spin model, they would gain on the low spin model by some amount. If you got an 18 handicap to do the same test, I imagine the gain would actually be very short, if actually no gain. So they don't really get the benefit of these lower spinning drivers massively. But people still sometimes navigate towards them. Like, is there not a way of making another, not like a slice up, another option that's like super, I don't know. I think it'd be good.
Well, like I say, they make slice drivers, don't they?
Yeah.
Which haven't been great.
So it would be a good idea then for a video. I'll say it now. We've obviously got the rights on it, so we say it first. If we get like Nick Hibbs or some a professional club builder to almost build us a super forgiving driver. Yeah. So like, let's just say a Ping G425 Max with the most loft you can get a proper custom built shaft that's like 43 inches, get it all weighted, and actually give it to amateurs and give them a normal one and see what the difference is.
I mean, even like glue the inside of the head.
Yeah, make it all proper. and give because when I used to fit golfers in my old job many moons ago, I actually asked the guys who worked above me for some shorter length shaft options because I knew that the shaft that was in stock was too long. I think I had an inch shorter and half an inch shorter, and I put so many golfs in the inch shorter, and the strikes became so much more centered and consistent. That'd be a good thing to try. Bit nerdy, but I think it'd be good.
I just like to say, I think golfers can get better. Sometimes their ego can get in the way.
Yeah.
I'm the same. I think golfers could definitely lower the scores if that's what their main objective was, or just enjoy golf a bit more.
And then the last question I've got is from John Kaysen. What are the best golf courses in the Northwest to play in the winter?
Anything links.
Yeah.
St Anne's Old Links. I played it a few weeks ago. Phenomenal condition. Royal Birkdale, Hoy Lake, Royal Lytham.
The only thing with all those though is
expensive.
they're expensive and what would you, is there any?
But there's links golf courses like let me think. There are cheaper links golf courses. What the cheaper links golf courses?
What's Southport Old Links like? I never played that. I know
Never played it. I've played Fleetwood. That's dry. Nice course. Or is it dry?
What about
No,
ones
it
that
might
are
not be,
more
actually.
like I always think like foresty courses are quite sensitive, sometimes dry. I don't know if it's me thinking that the roots of the trees almost soak up a bit. I don't know if that's true.
Again, Delamere.
Yeah.
The one that we played is
Delamere.
Delamere is phenomenally dry. But again, maybe not the cheapest. That's the only thing with good quality course in the winter. They know they're good quality golf courses, and obviously they'll stay expensive. Trying to think of a really good little.
The only other thing to do, and this is kind of not what he's asking, he's in Northwest, but he's like a trip up to Scotland where there's loads more courses.
Yeah,
and do a bit of a trip.
It took us 4 hours to get up there the other day.
That's what I was saying. I said this to my family when I got home. What's mad is that like, if I know Americans are different to us in the sense that if they have a 4 hour drive, it's almost on the doorstep. Yeah. Whereas for us, it's like, oh my days, we've got a 4 hour drive. But it just almost saddens me that so many people who live within a 4 or 5 hour drive of like St Andrews who love golf have never been.
It's mad.
It's like you could and this sounds a bit extreme, but you could almost get up on a Sunday. Let's just say your partner or whatever had something on that day and you had the day to yourself. I know a lot of people have kids and stuff, but let's just say you did. And you left the house at 7 o'clock, which isn't ridiculous.
No.
Get there for like 12. That includes a stop off at the services. You could literally explore you could walk a lot of the course. You could. Even on a Sunday, you could actually walk around the course, explore the town.
I'm going to give some names of golf courses.
Go on.
Hoylake Muni.
Right
Next door to Hoylake. It's got to be dry. Leaso.
Oh, Leaso, yeah.
That's
over
dry.
the water, yeah.
These are all over the water at the moment. Wallasey Golf Club's definitely one you want to try and play. Again, not sure the price on that one. West Lancs, amazing, super dry. Formby Golf Club and Formby Ladies. Again, not the cheapest, but amazing. S&A, Southport and Ainsdale, Hillside. There are choices. Like I say, it's just a bit more of a challenge when it's what's this one called again? Hesketh, Southport Golf Links.
Yeah, some good ones there.
There's options.
Green fees obviously can get silly, but if it's a course that you have on almost like your bucket list and you want to play, you have to see it as not so much that I'm paying that to play it today, it's that I'm paying it to say I've played that course forever.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's the thing about St Andrews though, again, if you lived 4 or 5 hours away, you get there for lunchtime, you set off at 7 that morning, it's a long drive obviously, you have a wander around the golf course, you go into the town, you go, there's all this stuff you can do, and you leave at like 6, back home for 10. Now, that is a lot of driving, but then the next day you go into work on the Monday, it's like, what did you do yesterday? Oh, I just went shopping, did nothing. Oh, I did it. What did you do? I went to St Andrews. It's like, what? Like, it isn't that far out the realms of possibility.
I played the Jubilee course, and I played the new course, I played the old course, whatever it may be.
Even not to play golf. It sounds bizarre.
I went on Himalayas.
Go in the Himalayas, look around the golf shops.
I don't think it was open the other day,
Was it not?
No.
There was no flags, actually, was there?
I
think that's where we're up to, pretty much. So
exciting week. Again, big guest Wednesday.
Very big guest Wednesday.
I'll have to think about what to ask him.
You've got a few questions you need to ask him, I believe.
I've got some big questions I want to ask him.
Sometimes we've had guests on Zoom. I've kind of just not bothered. Not bothered, but we've kept it just you. But I think I need to be on this one.
Oh, you need to referee this.
I know we'll win if it comes down to fisticuffs.
Guys, thanks for listening. Hopefully you enjoyed the podcast. Make sure you rate it 5 stars on Apple, Spotify, on your local fast food chain website.
Tell 4 friends.
That's what you got to do this week.
If you've watched this to the end or listened till the end, you can comment on the YouTube video now, or you could email us or something, I don't know. But if you can guess what drink I had in that cup, we'll give away some of the badges and that we got, and maybe something else.
There we go. So. Guys, thanks for listening. Stay tuned, lots more to come. We shall see you next week.